Well, I'm live, and it's about, and I've been taking it easy. Oh, but it's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time this year. You know that jolly old guy dressed in red with a little white like that? Did you ever realize this is Coca Cola's colors? That Santa really is not that guy. At best, nice hat. It was $1. Walmart's after Christmas, just around New Year's. And this is my New Year's hat. Christmas is whatever holiday you want to make it. Pretty much every holiday is, because they're all just celebrated to the god of money, of the shekel, the coin. I was in Dollar Tree, my favorite store, where everything is $1. And the card lady was there. And the card lady and I have you know, I don't want to call it a relation, but she was unloading her cards. People buy a lot of cards. I mean, she's there at least once a month, if not more. Anyway, just look the other way for a second. Yes. Anyway. Oh, whoa, almost fell over there. I'm just a little wobbly. The operation went well on Thursday. I can still see. And that's a good thing. Eggnog. I found a place that actually has it year round. That's the way. That's the way it should be. You know. No. Yep. So I'm at my friend's house, kind of downtown, and everything is paved and beautiful. Well, it's kind of enough out in the. That's the thing about Roanoke. You can almost be downtown and still in the mountains. It's pretty amazing. South Asheville, excuse me, South Roanoke is like that. It's like where the richest people are. And then there's this road that kind of goes up a hill towards a place called Garden City, where, all of those people who are called Nazis live. Now, I don't want to be disparaging, but, I don't believe in anything, so you've got a plan or, a religion or a belief or something like that, and that's fine for you. Go for it. Garden City. No, it's not that bad. Like I said, it's actually pretty nice. I said I didn't want to be disparaging. It is nice. It's like right snuggled between Vinton and South Roanoke, where all the rich people used to live, and now they're kind of coming back. Like a lot of the cities around America, they kind of died or started to die with the Vietnam War. Well, they really actually died with the assassination of JFK. Pretty much everything died with the assassination of JFK. Not so much that he was some hero or great guy. He was interesting, yeah. But no, it was how he was taken out. right in front of our face. I mean, right in front of our face. Then we were psychically cajoled with propaganda and advertisement. You know, and like, I mean, every step, whenever you see something go down, and it's important, like an airplane crash or a car crash or a crime scene or fire or a mechanical mishap that cost lives. Well, those things are actually investigated relatively thoroughly, and they have, organizational structures to do that. But every time you see something happen and it doesn't get investigated at all, it's like, hey, look at me. Look what color this is. Oh, you know what this is? This is Red Flag Day. That's where we are. This is Red Flag Day. And so anyway, so nothing is as it seems to be. It really isn't. And it's none of our faults that it is the way it is. But it can be construed as our fault if we let it continue to be that way. Eggnog. See, you can be penniless and homeless, but still enjoy eggnog. That's what's great about America. Eggnog. Eggnog in almost February. Now, this eggnog hangs out till like July. Then, USA, USA. And Donald Trump has made America great again. USA, USA. And, every peoples that have been conquered. And this is a good one. So, moron boy Italian, Chrissy Fit, got lost. Everyone, these maps of what the planet looks like, whether it's flat or round. It's interesting how they can kind of, that singular map works for both those ideas, flat or round. And that's because, flat or round isn't, has anything to do with the geography of the planet. No, it has everything to do with the geography of groups, tribes of people's beliefs. Right? And tribe isn't a good thing. An eco-village or a clan, meaning a smallest group where the group the group exists to support itself, keep it alive, right? But it's not a gigantic thing. That has to be culled every now and then. And that was the European experiment and the African experiment and the North American experiment, So Rome was the hot shit place, for about 800 years. It was the imperial site. And how does the empire exist? It grows, it just keeps expanding and chewing up things, right? It's like the Borg. And that's, the European empires were the Borg. Meet up is tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be back, John. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll come in the morning-ish. So you got your packages and everything? My question to you, John, is where are you going to put that wall? Well, all a wall can do is make a cell. Yeah. Good to see you in good spirits, my brother. So I'll see you tomorrow. You enjoy today. Oh, good. And I'm really proud of you that you made it down there. I only got your message once I was in the parking lot of the place, and I walked in, and luckily no one was there. And I talked to the lady, and she looked at me. She's the one who normally gives me packages. Oh, Erity's been here. He took everything. I helped him move all nine. She said all nine packages. So I'm glad you got everything, buddy. And I will come and visit you. Not coming. Yeah, it's your guest. I'm always your guest. Tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. So back to the story, right? Get back on the thread here. We've been here 10 minutes and 32 seconds. Anyway, I've been taking it easy. And the last three little pieces were like Bernal, or Lisette Model's photography. It was, a art piece. I'm going to start sprinkling my art, and not like flashing a photograph of it. I'm going to like do it, right? Show you what the NEA used to give us money for back in the 80s. Here's 80s were not that bad. The 60s it was like living in a concentration camp. I used to, hang out in college towns, College Park in Maryland, Harvard in Boston, and Worcester. Is that Dartmouth, I think? And, I went to prep schools, Deerfield, Xavier, Canterbury, I was pretty good at getting thrown onto things. And that's when I realized I don't want to be part of a club that they want me to go in. Whoosh. Yeah, the Great Wall of China didn't work out too good either. I guess Donnie was around then. I bet you all the best properties along the wall and Donald Trump will get and turn into a golf course. And they will have perpetual servants at these. They'll be like Gitmo. It's not quite in Mexico, not quite in America. And it'll make, everyone who wants to come from south of the border will have to work in one of Trump's country clubs for, a couple of years. And their kids are the club's property too. Hey, Jamie. The gang is forming. It's about 4, and it's about 12 minutes and 56 seconds. And I'm just kind of heading I always look east. I'm heading south, but always looking east. Hey, Chloe. Chloe. Oh, Chloe, the puppy dog. Yes, you little thing here. Oh, look at that cute little dog. Look at that cute boy. You're so woozy. Yeah, cute little dog. Big dog. Nice. Are we back? Can you see me? Yeah. The migrants. And that's how people from the South will have to emigrate here. They will have to work for Donald Trump for a few years. Back in the day, just a few days ago, like up until around 1970, the United States wasn't just a Democratic and Republican country. No, they weren't even the two biggest parties. There was the Party of the Union. There was Union Labor, the Labor Party. There was a Socialist Party. There was a Communist Party. And then there was the, what would I call it? Ministerial Party. And it wasn't virulently, negative and on the right. No, that philosophic, religious, let's say, party was ministers and churches. And pretty much, Martin Luther King was, Dr. Martin Luther King, he was a minister of a church, That's what got him into it. He saw what was going on. But the ministers today, they don't even have a flock, It's just like people out in the mega church, and all they're really looking at is the algorithms, the counters of how many people came through the door and how many hits they get, how many views, how many subscribers, and how much money on the plate. Uh, at some point, I want to make this into a religion, right? And this is the papal hat, right? This is the papal hat. And your determination of where you are in this sect is what hat you're wearing, right? And you just can't go out and buy them. I can't just go to Lowe's like I did and get it for 50 cents or Woolworths or Walmart's or wherever I got this. Uh, mm, mm. Ooh, eggnog. I love eggnog. Eggnog. Eggnog is good. Ooh, dee doo. Doo 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 doo. Yes, conquered over the next 90 years. It's interesting. When Chris got here, there's like 160 million indigenous people living here, tribal folk, of different clans. And some of them were pretty, St. Louis was an Indian tribal area of close to 300,000. That would kick anybody's ass. And why the 13 colonies is because the Europeans were kind of stuck there. They were like the swampy, shitty place that really nobody wanted. The really good property over there in mid-America, all the way to California, where the gold and the good stuff was. That was pretty much occupied. And so what happened was around 1840, give or take, there were, the whites folk were expanding. They're like lice, they're moving out there. But a gigantic earthquake, volcano, tsunamis occurred in 3 years, like 1837 to 10 years, 1837 to 1847, give or take. And if you go and look at, like, there was a time in that early 1800s when, it was winter all year long, meaning, they said that there was a fog that no matter if it rained or the wind blew or whatever, the fog was always there. And that was the particulate matter from a number of large volcanoes that gave basically a nuclear winter and killed millions. And basically white people didn't get out to the hinterlands until this event happened in the Midwest and killed more than half of the indigenous people there, just wiped them. And whoever was left was not, it was like the Japanese after Hiroshima. And so the white people just rolled right in. And that was one of the main reasons of the Civil War was France and England wanted to take America back. Now that America's ready to be really conquered. So what's the best way to conquer a place? Not to attack it. The English kind of saw that with the Patriot War. And that was a play. I mean, the English were the largest army on the planet at the time, and highly mechanized, highly organized. And they could have come in and kill everyone, right? I mean, the one people they couldn't fight were the American Indians, because organized armies like that don't do good or well against well-organized, decentralized guerrilla warfare. Vietnam's a great example. Afghanistan is the best. I mean, European countries have been trying to conquer Afghanistan for its location and its amazing ability to grow poppy. And English brought the poppy to the world. They found it in India and they spread it around. They saw it a great tool to de-incentivize the natives. Eggnog in the coffee, you can't beat it, along with a little schnapps. That's an interesting story. I told you guys about the snake goddess, the most sacred mountain of the Hopi. And in Anglo American, it's called Mount Taylor. And Taylor was the guy who, after, you know, yeah, a little bit before, but doubled down, tripled down after the Civil Wars. They moved the railroad and materialism across the country. And Taylor industrialized the assassination and Holocaust of the indigenous people of America. If you're a kid, you come into a job where you kill all the women and children, salt the fields, take, and kill definitely the men, and take whatever kids were left over, because kids survive. They crawl under things, they don't run out in front of bullets, they get scared. And they would take the kids, so there it is in New Mexico, this kid, that's all it knows, all its traditions, its lands, how to feed himself, everything. And they move him to Maine to be in an Indian school, where if you were a young woman, you probably got raped. And the whole process and philosophy and energetics of oppression, abuse, ritual, industrial, institutionalized abuse. And that's what pretty much all of the avatars, all the bags of water, all the meat puppets, we're all suffering from this social abuse, right? And when people talk about their parents being terrible and how they're so anxious and feel this or that, well, you really have to put things in context. I worked for the, New York City Housing Authority, right? I was a social worker, give or take. My partner was, I'll have to dig up a picture of her, but she was Irish and Puerto Rican, and she had been trained as sharpshooter, and she was in the Rangers in the Army and the SEALs in the Navy. This girl was really good. I mean, she got really, really trained. She did some and then she taught, right? And then they retired her. She was, just in her 30s, early 30s, and she became a policeman for the New York City Housing Authority. So she wore the uniform. Me, I look like this. And I would go in and talk before. I said, well, you better put your, let's all settle this down, or else she's coming in and killing everyone. And that's, the ultimate good cop, bad cop. Me as the good cop, her as the angel of death. But she was great because she didn't really have to ever get serious, but boy, she could. I saw her do a few things that were like, and she probably couldn't have done that as a New York City cop, so that's right. But to get back at the real trail, is that we would go into places and find kids, chained by the neck to the radiator, and they had stayed within a 4-foot thing of that radiator for most of its life, or in a closet, or being used as an ashtray, or worse. And so you got to put things together, So, maybe your dad has a problem with his stress, and your mom is doing whatever mom's doing, and it annoys you. Maybe makes you feel bad. Maybe they pick on you a little, or maybe you got a bully or two in school. But all those, I had all that stuff. But my parents, they were just human beings, and they didn't chain me to a radiator, or use me for an ashtray. They never did any of that. They really, I'm gonna kill you. But they didn't really do it. So and they took care of us, and they tried their best, and they had their really good points. Like my mom loved to sew and bake, and she made stuff for us that was just yum, yum, yum. And oh, gee, like she made me, there was, I was in a little league, right? And we were called the Tigers. and they all had these, uniforms, and I came a little late, and I didn't really play baseball, but it was a new place, meet people, blah blah blah. So I said, okay. Anyway, so they didn't have a shirt for me. She made me one. That was so amazing. They just had the silkscreen little tiger. She painted it and sewed and glistened. I mean, when I went out there, all the reflectors that were all over this thing kind of blinded people. So even if I just barely tapped it in play, I could get on base because people were going, "Ugh." And my mom did that. And we read together, and that was so much fun. We read Melville and Dickens, and it was, and what was the other? The Little Mouse, who had adventures, had his own, Stuart Little. We love that. We read those, they're big series. We read them over and over again. And when my mom, you know, was on the other side, not dead, but heading that way, and she would just sit in her lazy boy and watch the water glistening on their little pond in Florida. I would read her Stuart Little, and she would laugh. Yeah, and that's what life's about. Not about any of this other crap, but doing things like that. I could have said, "Oh, I hate my back," because I won't go there. But I was, a trial. I think I've told you the story about this. This is an interlude. I can always kind of, go off the expressway, especially since we're only 20. We're not even half an hour yet. I was trying to make a null field, which is that space where vacuum can be pumped. And if you can do that, you have what is known as 0-point energy. It's a kind of scalar Tesla thing, but he didn't. Tesla is like anybody else. I love it. What I do with you guys, going into state and meditating, da 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 da. Ancient process, a zillion years old, and I hear a lot of people go on. They're meditating and they're telling. And my system is, we pay $19.95. It's like, I mean, it's okay. What they're doing is, I kind of looked at it, and energetically, it works. It's pretty good. And if you need to pay $19.95, maybe you do. But and I'm not here to judge. And they're, like I said, but it always makes me chuckle because, again, remember, guys, this is your sensei Al Bob saying, don't believe anything I say, right? Don't you have to take it from your heart. And tonight we're going to do a guided meditation. And what I think I want to show is take you to all the different, like the other night, we went to Brazil. And the real story of Brazil wasn't Buzio, it was my surgeon girlfriend or building the nightclub or any of that stuff. What the real story of that was the friendships and relationships, and especially between the dresser, the master, and the people out under the canopy, and what they saw and what they knew and what was going on. And that's what tonight's story is going to be. And tonight's just a little interlude. And so I'm going to finish with two things. One, about the mud flood and history and the Mandela effect. And two, my mother and the how much amazing stuff she put up with me. I'm a quick learner. Once something happens, I go in my head and say, I'm not doing that again. Or that was great. I'm going to do as much as that I can. But I try and learn from all my experiences. Then, no matter good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. They all paid off. I learned something. I won't do that again. Or, wow, that was so much fun. I'm doing that a lot. So, don't believe anything I say. Yep, disclaimer. Hey, gang. Oh, let me, got a little oatmeal there. Anyway, so here it is, 30 minutes and almost 30 seconds. And I'll talk to you guys later. If not in a little bit, then tonight.